Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Escape Velocity. It's been a little bit, but we are here and back and ready to play. You just watched our intro video, which tells you about what we are doing here on the channel. Um, that said, even though if you're here live on Twitch, we've got our schedule beneath our faces. And if you're not here live, come join our Discord or find our social medias because we've got a variety of them. But Discord and our YouTube channel, which has all the stuff we've streamed on there, are the biggest ones. And yeah, I do know that this Thursday we do not have a stream. Our GM is traveling, so nothing scheduled this Thursday. And I think beyond that, most of the rest of the schedule should be the same. But again, you're gonna wanna follow, come join our Discord, or I believe we just made a Mastodon account for GGK, so that's probably gonna be the main one to get updates on these days. Because I don't think we're in Blue Sky yet, or if we're even trying to get into Blue Sky, which is Twitter too. Anyway, all that said, join our Discord because you get to know when we're doing things and you get to see us post memes and stuff. Yeah, I think that does it for channel stuff. So let's go around and say who we are and what we do on the internet. We'll start with David.
I'm David. Internet wise, I'm here on every other Tuesday and I'm running this game.
Yeah. Thank you, David. Hello, I'm Alex, OMG, some guy on the internets, mostly here Tuesdays and Thursdays, and on LB's channel on Sundays. Though both this Thursday and this Sunday, nothing's happening. So this is the only place you'll see me for a couple weeks. Or I guess maybe next Thursday we should be back. Anyway, for this game, I am playing Teddy, who is a bunny person. He is a telepath. He is a courtesan. He is our ship captain, and I think he is currently pretending to be a summoned creature from the great and powerful wizard Scarra. Because we're on a medieval fantasy planet, and they only have humans, and we have one human among all of us. So yeah, that's it for me. LB.
Hi, I'm LB Hackbub. You can find me at LB Hackbub on the Twitters and the Twitches. I am not going to be. I'm going to be live on Friday. Probably a little bit later than normal, but I'm going to be playing Dead Space. It's going to be fun. I practiced a little bit today just to make sure everything worked well. Boy, it's going to be fun. And then I'll be gone for the weekend, but you can catch me back here. I don't know what we're playing this. Anyways, today I'm playing Neith. She's a scary robot lady. Not robot lady. She's a mermaid with robot legs, but right now she's a human and all of her flaws are coming out of her mouth now.
And we love her for it. Mecha, you're next.
Hello, I am Mecha or MechaVT on the Twitter and the Twitches. Yeah, you can find me here tonight, every other Tuesday, and I'm also occasionally on my weird streaming schedule. You can't call it a schedule because it's not a schedule. It's just kind of whenever the hell I feel like it. Where I mostly play modded Elden Ring with my friends. Come check it out. And then here tonight I am playing Miles Scarra, the human pilot. He is kind of a coward, and he is a mighty sorcerer for the probably next few days. Yeah.
Thank you, Mecha. And last but not least, Sita.
Hello, Internet. My name's Sita. You can find me at Mr. Willip on most places at the internet. Although if you don't send me a DM, I don't know. I check them, but I'm not going around on places. You can find me every other Tuesday playing this wonderful game, and every Monday playing Red Jenny, a Dragon Age story, with some other awesome members of GGK. Tonight, I am playing Mozart. He is a robot with fish legs. Wait, no, that doesn't sound right. No, he is a robot with robot legs. And he's a murder boy with a penchant for pop culture references. And right now he looks like a big black armor demon guy, and he can't wait to terrorize these poor locals.
All right, thank you, everyone. Let's turn things over to our GM for the evening.
All right. So yeah, last time you all had made it to this new mysterious system where the alien creatures you had previously encountered had maybe not crashed, but ended up, after having taken over the Oasis of the Stars, a cruise ship that with about 3,000 people on board that went missing 3 to 4 weeks ago now. It had a populated Earth-like planet. You made contact with another ship that had made it here previous to you. They warned you a little bit about, the Oasis of the Stars, that it, had some, controlled by some entity that had called itself Strand. Yes. And these are the like yarn alien things. You, with scanners, were able to determine that the Oasis of the Stars was docked with, pre-tech, pre-scream, partially finished ring gate out on the edge of the system. And upon closer examination, you found that the ring gate was sort of like reassembling itself, like pieces of it were moving around. So you kind of, making the reasonable assumption that, it is perhaps being, I don't know, assimilated by Strand. You don't know to what ends. And, after much discussion, you decided to go to the planet and see if you could pick up the Minervan diplomat that the Emperor of Minerva had asked you to pick up, along with a diplomat from a far off planet that has very limited contact with this area of the sector. And so some big bounties there, and you'd make a lot of money if you could pick them up and whatnot. You learned from the other group that Strand wanted to have some kind of like diplomatic talks or something like that. But there's a much larger force coming in a few days, so you're like, leave it to them, I guess. Stay here and warn them. And yeah, major way to the planets. You found the escape shuttle that had the Minervan diplomat and the other diplomat on board, along with 8 other people. But when you got there, you kind of you did like a flyover in your flying car or whatever you're playing. You dropped it from the ship. You left Pleasant. And was it just Pleasant on board? You guys,
I think so.
You took Diego and everyone else. Yeah. You left Pleasant on board to come pick you up if necessary. And you took this plane down to the surface. You landed near the escape shuttle, but not like on top of it. So you had about like an hour hike, I believe, to get there. You scouted it out with your drones and noticed that there was a bunch of dead locals around the thing. They seem to have been killed with a sword, and there was evidence that the escape shuttle had, previously been opened, but was at the moment closed. You got there to find a strange humanoid creature who speaks in the third person and is called Ketheract. And kind of an odd voice, this creature, basically told you that, the people that had been here traded him this escape shuttle for their safe passage somewhere else. And he was going to take you there if you made a bargain with him. He gave you, his demands, either like four of these power cores. What are they? I forget what they're called.
Power cells?
Power cells. There we go. And and you with the power cells, you don't have them with you because these are like big honking power cells. But you could maybe get them from the fleet when they show up, or he's also willing to take like some smaller power cells and like a bunch of spare parts and some stuff like that. And you would need to move his ship for him. You've got a couple ways to pay him, but you've made this bargain with him. It's some kind of magical bargain where he's basically told you that if you leave the atmosphere or break the bargain, you'll die. If he breaks the bargain, he'll die. And yeah, I leave anything out on it?
I think those are all the high points. I do see that he told us that he would be taking us to the Tower of Heaven.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Tower of Heaven.
There's a point that I definitely remember is that this thing is in some way pre-scream.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, he's referred to himself as a shade, and that he is he existed before the scream.
Kind of a deal.
Mm-hmm. Nothing to be concerned about there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess a description of him, kind of like Three Musketeers style clothing, but it's all like pastel purples and blues and pinks. He's got like a overly large hat with some big feathers on it. He has kind of like a dark purple kind of skin tone to him with like golden hair and eyes. And yeah, when you guys did the pact and you cut yourselves, he bled gold, and not just like his blood was the color gold, like it pooled and like you could pick it up. It's little gold nuggets now if you wanted to.
Okay. I don't know if we'd gotten that last detail.
No, I don't think we did.
Okay, well, that
because Scarra immediately seeing
would
that
have
would
been
be like,
clear.
I can make a fortune out of this guy.
And yeah, so we pick up. You've made this bargain. You're all in homemade disguises of what you believed would be appropriate clothing for the planet. You're not too far off. It's wrong, right? It's not the fashions. It's not the style, but it's not as outlandish as your normal clothes would be.
Mm-hmm.
You're an oddity, not a like, let's stop and see what the F is going on with these guys.
Yep.
Did anybody tell Mozart to go back to old man in bathrobe form?
No, because I think we had determined that, like, since we've got Scarra and Neith both in humanoid form, and we're going with the story that, like, the rest of us are basically summons of theirs, in that way, most of us can be in our default forms.
Erstwhile is also in a human form as well.
Yeah, so at this point it's really just Mozart and Teddy who are the oddest ones.
I'm here for it.
All right. Well then. Yeah, so you've just made this bargain. What time of day did you guys land and get here? Kind of thing.
I feel like
Day, huh?
would have been morning or midday, probably.
I think we were.
Say it was light out.
It was light out, and I think it was like around 11, like I think just before midday.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Because I remember us saying we landed, but then we waited like an hour or so, or like a half hour after we made contact, just to be like just to like have time between, because we were kind of suspicious of this. Cool.
Hmm.
So,
That's true. Yes, you were getting like it sounded like almost AI communications from the escape shuttle when you were originally getting there. It was very suspicious. That's what kind of led you to approach it so cautiously.
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
All right. So yeah, now that the pact has been made, maybe it's now that some of you begin to notice that his blood has like become little gold nuggets in the ground. And Kethorak kind of, puts his hands out and does a little bit of a bow and says, "When would you all like to leave?"
Humans don't do that, right?
No, no. Most humans that I know of are for blood is blood. It does not do that. Um,
You can literally see my blood on the ground right now. We can confirm that it does not do
Oh,
that,
right.
and so is yours.
Yay. Okay.
but to
Is it cool if I take that?
Kethorak doesn't mind.
Does your blood like
Sweet.
act like as a conduit, or would I guess, do you not know that word? Sorry,
Kethorak is familiar with it. What would his blood be a conduit for?
as in like, does it like push through electricity, or like
Ah, is Kethorak's blood conductive? I'm not overly familiar with the physics of gold. If gold is conductive, then quite likely, yes.
We
Should we
could test
try
it
it?
out
I've
if
got
you'd
some
like.
stuff in my bag. Yeah.
I, I mean, perhaps with some of the nuggets, but
Oh,
I think we're all good to go now, though. Checking with the rest of the crew, making sure no one has like a hey, wait a minute, let's stop for take a short rest.
I guess this is just a personal thing before we go on, because I never removed this armor. Um I assume the Icarus harness is too big and bulky for me to wear without it being
Well,
noticeable. Or is it fine to wear?
you could probably wear it under your
Robe
your
stuff?
robes or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good to know. I don't want my AC to be tanked.
So I guess
I
depending on
mean,
how it works, like if you activate it, are the robes gonna catch on fire?
I think it's just armor, so it's combat armor.
yeah. Let me pull up.
Because otherwise I'll switch back to the armored undersuit, which is just like padded clothing pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Where are my books? Yeah, I will just say yes. It works fine
Okay.
with core rulebook. Nope, that's the wrong thing. Oh dang. Do I not have the correct PDF? That can't be right. Oh well. Deal with it later. All right.
Um,
um,
well, in that case, I think we're all fine to go, right?
of course, Kethorak shall lead the way. Um, and he just kind of starts walking.
And we're sure I still need to be human. Everyone, yes.
You need a hand and walking straight.
Erstwhile will kind
Aha,
of be
fuck
like,
off.
if I were to turn you back to normal and then I would have to turn you back to a human again today, it would kind of deplete my ability to keep using other. I wouldn't be able to heal people as well and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Also,
I'm
where
just-
did we didn't bring your legs with us?
Yeah, I was
so,
gonna say if since we're close, now would be the time. But I guess no, it's cool. No, I love walking in 2 legs. It's great. Okay.
we do it all the time.
Mm-hmm. Not like this.
Hey, look, I trust me. I know what it's like to get used to new legs.
Yeah. Must have sucked.
Yeah,
All right, let's go.
All right. So yeah, you walk for, the better part of the day. And eventually like getting to a place where Kethrak kind of stops and asks, "Do you wish to continue through the night, or do you need sleep?"
Oh, we do need sleep, yes.
Speak for yourself. As he
Most of
comes,
us
like,
need sleep.
kind of bopping along next to you guys, listening to Mbop for the 8th time in a row.
I don't know. As much as that is incredibly grating, I probably could go for another few hours. Less,
Oh.
Captain. I mean, it's your decision after all.
I mean, eventually, yes, we will need to stop and rest, but I think we're fine to go until the sun starts setting.
Right,
Mozart.
little Thanos, why don't you tell us how much longer we got to walk?
Kethrak would like to walk about 8 more hours to get to a small village where he could procure horses for you.
What time of the day is it?
It's like sunsetting kind of thing.
How about we deal with that in the morning? I don't think we're going to be able to go that long without being walking corpses, pretty much.
I suppose the question is, what sort of nocturnal dangers are there on this planet?
This is largely civilized lands. While there are some issues, the Terran mandate has at least kept most other mandates at bay, and we're far from any portals to any of the other more unsavory shade mandates.
Oh, you're saying we're safe?
Relatively, Kethrak cannot guarantee that a creature from one of the pain mandates does not appear, but as long as one does not, we should be fine.
All right. Well, hmm.
Right,
Should I
I
go
got
get some
watch.
firewood?
Yeah. So I guess that is a question. What are the mechanical problems if we did just stay up all night? Does this game have exhaustion or something?
It does. It'd probably just be like a minus like 1 to your rolls or something like that.
Hmm. Yeah, because
That's pretty rough for this system.
yeah. So yeah, probably I'll take a rest, and then if Mozart wants, the rest of us could take turns keeping watch with him, but otherwise.
What the bloody hell else am I gonna do? You squishy things, get your sleep. I'll wake you up. Anything wrong goes on.
Kethrak will also keep watch.
Ugh.
He experiences no need for sleep.
Cool.
Right, see, Captain, I've got Skinny Grimace's presence.
Well, I think with the two of you, we should be fine to rest.
All right, Mozart, just don't. Just chill with the music, though. Okay?
The volume goes down.
You're the best. So glad you're here with us.
I know.
Neith, I know it's very easy to mask your emotions with the voice filter, but do you need lessons? I'm sure Teddy could give you some tips.
Why?
I know.
Are you feeling like bad about the things that I'm saying? Am I hurting
No,
your
no, no,
feelings?
no. I just thought, like, if you wanted to mask your sarcasm or your discontent,
Oh, was I doing that before?
not
Shit.
intentionally, but it was really hard to tell.
Oh, okay. Well, now you're getting a better idea of what I actually am conveying, so that's perfect.
I must say, Melchior, I love you for just who you are.
Thanks.
Turns
I
back
can't
to
do the
Mecca.
voice in the normal thing. I can't do it without the mask. I'm sorry.
That sounded sincere to me, Scarra.
Anyways, nobody touch me while I sleep. I don't want to have to kick someone's ass.
um, how cold is it? How cold is it getting? Unless
So I do remember a conversation about we should buy like a tent or something. And I
we did
forget
talk
if
about that,
that's
didn't we?
that
Oh,
is it in our party inventory?
I think we bought a space tent.
Yes,
so
we
can
have
like.
yeah, a pressure tent.
All right, so you guys bust out the space tent.
Yeah, I mean, if we're 8 hours away from a village, we probably don't need to worry too much about hiding technology here.
One thing that didn't get mentioned last time that should is that also you guys are probably pretty just dang tired just having walked this
Yeah.
far, and that the planet is much larger than Earth, so it's closer to like a standard 2G. So you
Okay.
guys weigh about twice as much as you normally do.
Does that mean we're twice as strong?
No.
We don't just magically get the extra muscles.
As in, like, since are things lighter here for
No,
us?
they're twice as heavy as we're used to.
Ah, right. No, it would be if the planet was smaller, then they're okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Look, I got my space physics mixed up, and I've been watching too many
So
sci-fi shows recently.
there's like all of you are like experienced space travelers, so you know, like, oh, okay, the rules on this are like, sleep this way to make sure we're not, putting too much pressure on the muscles while we breathe, and stuff like that. But you're in a survivable level of gravity. It's just gonna suck until you get used to it.
Yeah. But when we leave this planet, that's when we'll have emerged with, the Dragon Ball super training of wearing the weighted boots and outfits and stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure.
There's only
Yeah,
10% of my power. Let me take off my weighted clothing. Boom! Just cracks in the ground.
Yep.
just don't do any big falls. No one jump off of things. Your sense of like how far you can safely jump is going to be very wrong.
Yep. No. But yeah, so I think the pressure tent is large enough to fit us, but it is gonna be a little cozy.
Oh yeah, because it's going to be
It's 5 of us.
5. Yeah, because Urswell and Diego.
Mm-hmm.
All humanoid shaped, so
Yep.
I was gonna say all humans, but we have Teddy, so.
I forgot about this. I'm also going to have my drone just do some lazy circles around the campground, probably like 100, 200 feet up, something like that, and go maybe like a quarter mile out around the campground all night.
Okay.
Just scanning.
Sure.
By the way,
That
the
can
name
be
of my
done.
drone is the Bach 3. I don't think I told you guys that before.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Any in the tent scenes that anyone wants for the night as you all cram into the pressure tent?
Then they come to mind.
Yeah, I think if we're packed in that tightly, I think there's some of like getting limbs out of each other's faces until eventually we find the Tetris configuration that works.
God,
Okay.
Scarra, did you fart? What is that?
Oh, sorry, that was my jet fuel out of my boots. Sorry, I forgot
Oh,
it. So sometimes
God.
it gets, hey, look, Neith, you built it like that, okay? Needs to
Is
exhaust
this what
somehow.
smelling is like? Ah,
Just like,
Hey,
don't
you,
think
you
about it.
probably smell, right? Like
In
fish
water.
and stuff smell.
yeah, in water, yeah, but not in the air.
You're a mechanic, you'll be fine.
That's true. I guess you always have like this very specific water supply, so
Mhm.
you're not going to be used
I
to
miss
all the
my
smells.
mask.
I guess if you guys bought any of that stuff, I guess no, Erstwhile wouldn't drop it because they would turn into a giant thing that wouldn't be able to fit to the
Yeah.
tent. So
So then just crushes his
Yeah,
whole. Like,
let's
yeah.
let's see if we can find the pressure tent in the PDF.
I have rations. I'd pass that around, I guess.
Yeah.
What is it in a survival kit?
The things you need to survive.
I
don't
have
know.
a survival kit. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like reasonable. With these kind of things, it's kind of like 5e, like the tool boxes or the tool kits and stuff like that. It's just like, it's got what you need.
Okay, so the pressure tent. This tent maintains a breathable atmosphere, tolerable temperature, and serviceable sleeping quarters for up to 5 very friendly occupants. It does have advanced filtration and stuff that requires an A-type power cell, but I don't think we need that.
Mm-hmm. All right. So yeah, you get the tent up. Yeah, you don't have to pressurize it or anything. The atmosphere is very breathable. And yeah, you guys get to sleep. Mozart, as you get that kind of distance up with the drone, especially now that it's night, you can see the village that Ketheract is bringing you to. Yeah, it's relatively small. There's some stables and stuff like that. It seems to be a farming community. Yeah, it's you're a scholarly background, so you recognize kind of medieval architecture and stuff like that. It's obviously different as it's kind of had to be relearned from scratch, but
So
yeah,
since I
it's
shelled out for that sensor suite, I think I want to take a bunch of zoomed in images, just kind of get like some lay of the land, maybe along the path that we would likely be taking to this village as well. It's kind of
sure.
recon as much as I could for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, easily done. And yeah, it looks like a pretty, Ketherac's taking you on a pretty safe pass or path to the place. You do see kind of off a little ways further past this. There's some woods and since you have the sensor stuff, you would see kind of some heat signatures here and there of stuff, but nothing large at the moment. I seem to be kind of in the clear. And
Any other like weird energy signature? Like there's a plutonium thing underneath the village or something?
give me a roll. Let's see, what do we want you to roll? Program.
Okay. I can do that. I get here 15.
Okay, that's really good.
Almost
Okay,
double sixes.
yeah. So you do notice odd energy signatures round and about, and uh, kind of some different places. Some of them are coming from some of these smaller heat signatures that you've seen, and kind of distant places. One is very definitely Ketheract himself. And what you will notice is that from the scan is he is some kind of metadimensional energy. And yeah, that's what the odd energy signatures you're seeing are largely, different concentrations of metadimensional energy on the planet.
And was it all of the large, like human-sized or humanoid-sized energy signatures? Do they all give off that?
Nope. Most the village is just like people. It's just like heat signatures, no metadimensional. You're not seeing any signs of tech use, but you see maybe little animal-sized heat signatures off in the distance somewhere, and then there's metadimensional to them as well, but not all of the animal-sized heat signatures. Just sort of seems to be a little random.
Oh God, is there a Monty Python and the Holy Grail bunny somewhere?
Sharp pointed teeth. All right.
I don't know if any of us have the holy hand grenade, so I think we're doomed.
What did he call the? He said something about there being some kind of monster thing, and I didn't quite catch it.
Shade mandates, and then he also mentioned the pain mandates, which it sounded like the pain mandates are what he would be most concerned about.
The pain mandates?
Yeah.
Sorry, you said it 3 times in a row, and my ADHD was like, pain mandates, pain mandates, pain mandates.
Right, so these pain mandates, they're like you, oozing metadimensional energy.
Ketheract would be more than happy to give you additional information about this place. However, some trade would need to be done.
Ugh, God, you are useless, aren't you? What do you want?
Ketheract would like to trade information for information.
Right, well, I'm not agreeing yet. But I told you my question. You tell me yours. We make the decision.
Ketheract would like to know the most powerful mercantile organization.
Right, the fuck of course you do. Well, as much as it pains me to say this, my captain isn't me. So we'll deal with the answer to all that. Mayhaps in the morning. You keep your weird purpley digits where I can see them for the rest of the night.
Ketheract would be able to provide this information if something were given to him that he could hold on to until the information was given to him.
Right, pal.
Insurance?
You don't want anything that I've got to give. Now, I said we'll handle it in the morning. Shut your big purple trap.
Ketheract is most displeased at your lack of willingness to barter, but
Mozart doesn't give a damn.
well, Ketheract shall leave Mozart be.
I am so pissing this guy off.
I am loving every second of this.
All right. So yeah, with that, the night passes pretty much uneventfully, and you all wake up in the morning.
And Mozart is disassembled in pieces. No.
No. Ketherite, like, just stopped talking to you, though. He's just stayed where he was.
No, I would imagine we're both kind of like just sitting on stumps or something, staring at each other all night long.
He's very likely just standing up and just
Okay,
kind of looking around. Yeah.
cool. So it's awkward when you guys wake up.
Mhm.
Everything okay? I mean, everyone's still in one piece, but any
Right. Me and this one. Well, Captain Cottontail, made some discoveries last night. There's more than things like him, than pain mandates, he says. The roundabout's the village. I took Bark up there, got some good looks, got some photos if you want to take a gander, but he proposed a trade. I asked him more about the info on these things. He wants to know. Go ahead, Blondie.
Ketherite would like to know the most powerful mercantile organization that you know of.
That doesn't sound like a loaded fucking question, does it?
I mean, I can certainly see how it would be useful information for Cataract. However, I do think, given the potential immediate threat of these pain mandates, it may be useful for us to know about that. And so I guess would there even be a representative from the most powerful mercantile force that we know of coming with this fleet, or would it be something that they like?
It would probably just be like Space Vegas. They're kind of, they're kind of the mob slash couriers.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and are they expected to be part of the coalition that's coming, or?
Yeah, they have one of the larger fleets.
Okay.
It's a mercenary fleet, but yeah, they'll be here.
Okay. Um. Yeah, I think just quickly checking in with the others. Anyone opposed to providing Cataract with this information?
Does it hurt? I mean, I imagine that he's going to find out anyways if he's going to interact with the fleet.
I'm sorry, why
Right?
is it a bad thing?
Yeah, I don't understand why it's a bad thing. I mean, mercenaries are one of a kind, and they always find each other no matter what they do. So, and I imagine how he handles with people. I imagine becoming a merc is probably something he plans to do. I imagine he wants to associate himself with his group so he can get information and trade more and more.
He's a pre-screen thing. He's different.
Yes.
I'm well aware of that. He bleeds gold.
Look, I'm along for the ride with you, meatbags. You make your own decisions. My vote, I put it. If you want to count it, you count it. But it's your game to play.
Speaking from outside my own feelings and personal things about this, we're gonna find one of these pain things eventually. I feel like it's gonna happen. I mean, like, this is life forms on this planet. He promised to protect us. It doesn't matter if we know information about it. If we end up finding it, who the fuck cares, right? So I don't think we need information about him. He can protect us. Who cares? And you can protect us.
Thank you.
So if I'm remembering correctly, when he mentioned them, it sounded like Cataract wasn't sure he would be able to keep us safe from the pain mandates.
But he also
He
might
said he
have
was
been
gonna
manipulating.
try. He said he couldn't, like, I can't
Guarantee
guarantee it,
it.
but I'm going to, yeah.
Yep. And so with that, we may.
Which sounds like just being honest to me.
Yeah. And so we may have to lift a finger to help if we run into one of these things.
Ketherect will say that he will, for this information, he will not simply provide information on the pain mandates, but more of what Ketherect is in general, and some of the information that might be useful here on the ground.
Group huddle. There is a small part of me that likes the idea of setting him loose on Space Vegas. They're a bunch of assholes, and could be entertaining to see them try and contend with him.
Well, bloodthirsty did not expect you, Cap.
Listen, someone shows you their jugular, you go for it.
Ooh.
Damn.
Ketheract surmises that Space Vegas is the most powerful
Fine.
mercantile organization.
You have
That you
a
are aware
private
of.
conversation.
I mean, I think Teddy would go on to mention, specific contacts that he's aware of, or maybe ask Scarra for any that he knows of, given that seems to be more your background.
I do have little
Yeah,
trade
you
and
would
connect.
know.
I have connects. So.
Mm-hmm.
You would know like specific names
Yeah.
that he could name drop.
Well,
Yeah.
if he already knows it's Space Vegas, I'll just tell him some names.
Mm-hmm.
If
Ketheract is
in good,
most appreciative.
well, I am partial as you are to a good trade. So
It is more of a necessity for Ketheract.
yes, but it's also a necessity for me to have food to eat. So
In such the same way as it is for Ketheract to trade. Ketheract is what is known as a shade.
mhm.
The pain mandates, many other of the mandates here are shade mandates. These are creatures made up of metadimensional energy. This planet, before the Scream, as you called it, was doing experimentations on new ways to harness metadimensional energies, specifically using them to create false matter. They use this to create new beings. Some of these beings had memories as if they had existed for previous to this. Ketheract is one such being.
So did you exist pre-screen or not?
Ketheract
Do you
remembers
believe you
existing
do?
pre-scream, and previous to being summoned by these mages. But Ketheract cannot know for certainty that he did exist. It's possible he is created with these memories.
I look to Mozart. Does this ease your concerns any amount hearing this information?
Sort
Blade
thinks
Runner.
about everything that he is and goes, no.
Oh,
Blade Runner.
worth asking.
Blade Runner.
Huh?
Put to Mozart. Blade Runner.
Right.
You understand?
So shades do not require sustenance in the same way that you do. They require contracts. They require specific things that sustain them. Ketheract needs to trade.
Succubus. But
Yeah,
with
that would
contract.
be a kind of shade.
Ketheract would suggest staying away from a succubus.
Wait, do they actually exist?
Yes. There are various demonic mandates.
I might have
Points
to.
Teddy.
I might have to go visit. I mean,
So the pain mandate is a larger organization of many of the shades that basically their contract requires pain.
Hmm.
They are literally sustained by inflicting pain.
it's like the weirdest groups of sadists I've ever heard of. Well, actually, maybe not.
The upside to this from your perspective would be that the vast majority of shades are not intelligent. Most are simply animals of some kind. Ketheract would guess there are less than 500 intelligent shade on the entire planet,
Yourself included.
myself included, or himself included, because he would never say myself. But yeah,
Damn it! I almost called him out.
If I mess up, Ketharak didn't.
Yep. That's always the fun part of role playing. It's like, nope, the character would have gotten this right. The human behind the character just messed up.
I am not used to speaking in third person all the time.
Yeah.
Don't you mean David is not used to speaking in third person?
No, let's not break David.
I'll just do it. And already at work, signing everything with best David already seems really weird. But yeah.
You are the best David that exists.
Especially if I'm talking to another David.
Yep.
Like, hello, David, and then signing off with best David.
Yep. I have had that experience multiple times. It's always tickles me. Anyway.
All right. Ketharak is required to trade for valuable things. If Ketharak is in possession of something valuable, he cannot simply give it away, even if he would like to. Hence, information for information. It needed to be something valuable, but something Ketharak believed that would be easy for you to tell him. Yes, and a contract was not necessary. You are already under contract with Ketharak, so. And for example, Ketharak could have made this trade with Mozart.
Because it doesn't require the flashy light thing it was.
Correct.
You know, you're starting to remind me like a dragon, like in ancient tales. Trading into the dragon, taking dragon swords.
Are significantly more dangerous than a shade. I would be wary of them.
I mean, yes, they also exist here.
Of course.
You know, suddenly I don't like being on this planet anymore. Well, actually, no, I think I do. I think that'd be cool to see. Perhaps we could, I'm thinking dangerous thoughts right now. Maybe I should stop.
Yeah, let's get what we came here for, and then we can figure out if we have time for sightseeing.
So, probably you're packing up camp, and Ketharak would be kind of explaining some of this stuff as you start walking along.
Yep.
And he would explain, you kind of go on to, when the scream happened, as you called it, many portals opened up to metadimensional sort of landscapes. These can be seen across the planet, and they are largely populated by shades. They can only be entered through the portal. It's something like a force field protecting it. And shades became sustained for significant periods of time. Previous to the scream, Ketharak could only be sustained by someone who summoned him for maybe a month at most.
All right. Now you mentioned trading valuable things. Could you trade less valuable things, but still, could you make up for quality with quantity?
The sum value is what would be important. And Ketharak is able to sway it depending on how much Ketharak wants the trade to happen, because then the trade itself has value to Ketharak.
Indeed. Okay. Sorry, I was just thinking because in LB's game on Sunday, we were procuring diamonds for spells, and it's that thing of like, well, okay, this diamond to me is worth 300 gold pieces or whatever, and things like that. So it sounds like there is some wiggle room for Keth in that way. Interesting. Also, is there an insight roll or something? Just trying to figure out, like...
Notice, I would say. Really, any of the roles, if you think it would work.
I mean, so what is the talk skill? What is it do? What does it do?
So talk is to it's kind of like persuade.
Okay.
But it's like to talk to someone and sort of convince them of your rightness is kind of
Yeah.
like the best way to do it.
Okay, and notice does specifically say reading the emotional state of other people, which is what I want here, and basically trying to figure out, how, I guess, almost friendly is he being? Because he is giving us a lot of information right now, and it's trying to figure out, like, is he doing this to actually, like, put us at ease and, build our relationship, or is he still clearly, like, lying by omission and stuff like that?
Okay.
But we'll see
Yeah.
how I roll.
Give me a notice.
That's a 6, which well, I guess depends on what you set the DC at.
Yeah. I would say that you don't pick up on any kind of like deceit or anything like that.
hmm
And while he is hard to read, um, there's, you know, an eagerness about his interactions with you. There's a genuine want to be, on good terms.
hmm Okay. Because, yeah, I mean, I think Teddy is going to be presumably the most comfortable among the group of, like, keeping up a conversation with him. Um, but, yeah, so I think over the course of the hike, sprinkles these questions in as they arise.
Yeah. And yeah, for like smaller questions, they're like as you're hiking, Kethrak might like ask you like kind of a parallel question, like, tell me about, some mayor you had or something like that, like
Yeah.
information that's theoretically potentially worthless to him, but it's like this is perhaps outside the original scope, so now he has to ask something else.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think you all would notice Teddy is probably becoming a little bit more at ease with Ketharak over the course of the day, but is not like buddy with him as you've seen him get with some others that we have interacted with.
think Scarra, if we're hiking, he's still getting used to how heavy everything is.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's had most of the time anytime he's gone to any planets, things have either been normal gravity or like lighter gravity. He has had other times when he's been like down to planets where it's been heavy, but he's never sticked around too long.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just really trying. He's also just thinking about just talking to like Neith being like, and Neith and Ursula being like, it's not normally this heavy. It's not this weird being a human, I swear.
Yeah.
Mozart.
I think Roy, yeah, hold on. Yeah,
Your
Alex.
your carriage is like super strong, right?
Cool, Chevy.
Yeah, it's I mean, even in this weight, is it giving you any problems?
Ah,
No, you're not feeling like extra tension or anything like that.
no. I mean, it's there, but Mozart can take care of it, no problem.
Don't think you could take an extra weight, right? That's like I don't want to push you.
So like Mozart's like 9 feet tall, right? So he
Mhm.
like kind of bends over and puts an arm out,
Yeah, she hops up.
and then he grabs Scarra by the scruff and like just puts him on his shoulder.
Well, this is fine.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if we want to get the story straight, now that we're on the way to the village, the so-called village for horses. It's interesting that every planet has horses, well, some equivalent. But this planet just says the word horses. Interesting. Anyways, that's not what I'm getting to. The story is Teddy is my summon, and Mozart is a construct built by Neith, perhaps? I don't know. Does that sound about right?
That's the most plausible thing, I think.
Because I don't have the tech know-how of how to describe if I built this thing. No offense, Mozart.
Ketherite would suggest we do not mention that Mozart is a mechanical creature of any kind.
Really?
Fair.
Oh, right. So,
Well,
you
I think
summoned
they'll
it
be
up
able
into
to tell.
existence. I mean, it's not like they have technology here, so it's not like they have any reference to base it off of, unless you consider the spaceships rolling from the sky.
There are some pre-tech technologies still in use.
Oh, and they still work?
Yes.
Well, that is deeply terrifying.
I suggest that we say Mozart is a knight and that is his armor.
And you have taken an oath not to remove your armor in front of anyone else.
Right,
Okay,
good
well,
enough then.
that changes the story. Neith, this is your noble knight, Mozart.
Dope.
Also-
Neith, you can be my sister or something. I don't know.
No, I'm a princess from another world.
Oh. I don't think that story's going to hold up very well here.
Yeah, right. Story. Okay.
You will
Scarra
need to
completely
speak
glances over that.
a mixture of Latin, German, and Italian.
I can speak
Oh,
English.
easy.
Does my translator work for me speaking other languages, or should I just stay silent?
It would translate, but it would be like you talking and then it saying it.
Yeah, so I think we're probably going to need to mostly just have Teddy be the translator. And you know
Did we
that
determine that Mozart also has a handful of languages as well as part of the scholar background?
Probably you could know. I mean, it would make sense for you to know several languages as a part of the background, but I mean, at the very least, I would say you know Latin, right?
Works for me.
I mean, I have a +1 in Connect. Would it be so much to say that I had no multiple languages? Because part of the Connect skill that I'm reading right now is that I'm familiar with foreign cultures and languages.
well, I'm trying to remember because I very specifically have a thing that makes it so that I pick up languages easier. Yeah, diplomat. You speak all languages common to the sector and can learn new ones to a workable level in a week, becoming fluent in a month. Oh, I'd need to remember this bit. Reroll ones on any skill check dice related to negotiation or diplomacy.
Hmm.
Oh, and once per game session, shift an intelligent NPC's reaction roll one step closer to friendly if you can talk to them for at least 30 seconds. The skill is much more powerful than just you know all the languages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good skill.
Oh, I don't have the. I just double check the level. I don't have the level 2 thing yet, but I do have the first bit.
Okay.
So I guess now that we are adjusting the story, is Neith just Lady Neith? Or do we just do you want us to call you something other than that?
I mean, if we're going for the story of me being a magician, then maybe Neith is the noble lady that we serve under, and me being the court magician and noble knight in the summon, perhaps.
Yeah, Lady Neith is fine, or Nathandria.
Oh, adding a little bit of spice to that gumbo, eh?
Look, some people have short names, some people have longer names. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, out of game. Would it be? I only have it written down there, no common, but it wouldn't. Would I know any other languages? I don't know. I don't remember.
I
I
mean,
make
so
a roll to know.
know no, because it's like you know languages. There's a thing about learning them. So you know the language, you know mandate, and you know the language common to your planet that you're from. which I'm
I'm
trying to
from a
remember
I'm from a
what
moon.
Pangea's planet or language is.
Hmm.
Let me see if I wrote it. Planet text. So where's Pangea? Pangea's
One of the
3.
many moons of Pangea.
Engineered. Okay, so. Oh, okay, here we go. Level 4. Oh, I didn't say on there. Because yeah,
I mean, if I only know
Pangea,
English
it's New
for
Atlantis.
mandate, that's fine.
Yeah, probably
Basic
probably
human.
English mandate.
Yeah.
I summoned Teddy so he could speak for me.
Yeah, figure it out.
Yeah, probably for. So I imagine we'll hand wave Teddy doing the translating so you all can just speak, but I imagine Teddy would introduce in any sort of social situation of just like, my masters do not deign to speak to the common folk, and that is my purpose. Something along those lines to cover the language barrier.
Yeah, I'll just pretend like I know what everyone's saying. I'm pretty good at that, right? Am I good with that with his face? Wait, here we go.
Yes,
Looks perfect.
It looks. Why can't I think of the right word? Appropriately aloof.
Dope. Okay, cool.
All right. So as you all get your story straight, you approach the this village, and you've seen some natives here before, but they were kind of all dead and laying on the ground and stuff. Seeing them now, like walk about, they are much shorter than sort of the average person is. Not like insanely shorter, but probably like average height, being around like 5 to 5.5 feet tall, and kind of much stockier. Um, Pretty muscular builds amongst all of them, and to probably definitely at least Teddy, as you're familiar with, being from a culture of genetic modification, it's
Mhm.
clear to some extent these people have been genetically modified to live on the planet.
Okay.
Especially the ease at which they're kind of moving around.
Yep. Yeah, I imagine shorter and stronger would be the way to go on a double gravity planet.
And the architecture is a lot more like squat as well. Like there's not a lot of tall stuff. And yeah, you see the horses. The horses have also clearly been genetically engineered. They do still look like horses, but they're yeah they're much more muscular, and they're a little bit smaller. And yeah, I see a couple of them like pulling like a hoe or something like that, or a wagon.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, as you all approach, you're kind of on the outskirts of the town itself, and you're kind of seeing some people doing some stuff. You're probably more likely you're coming up on a farm or something like that, and you're seeing some of the farm hands going about doing their stuff. And Kethrak kind of like points towards um, a kind of a larger house in the area, and she kind of Kethrak believes this will be where the owner of these places will be. They will be of something of a higher station, but I imagine that there's some small lordling. Or Kethrak imagines there's some small lordling.
What are the villagers' reactions to Kethrak? I don't particularly care what you think about us.
Um, there's a lot of like stopping and like giving space. Like this is a shade. They know what shades are.
So being cautious of a shade is pretty common.
Wrong.
And then when I see that, what are their reactions to us, or are they more concerned about Cataract?
They're concerned of the group as a whole, especially with Mozart there as well. Some giant, enormous knight would be an extremely unusual sight. You guys are clearly very important to have two shades and a knight, because Teddy would be a shade.
Ah. Okay.
Right then, announce with a little fanfare, should we?
I mean, I think
She waves her hand.
we should just proceed to the Lordling's house and see if we can get horses and be on our way. The less interacting we do with the locals, I think the better.
And yeah, as you hear them speaking, those of you that know a little bit more about languages are really gonna pick up on like they're speaking some weird language that is a combination of German, Italian, and Latin.
So English.
Nope.
No.
Definitely not.
But how much does it sound like the Minion language? Because the Minion language is like French, Spanish, and English. And gibberish.
Bit. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
probably a little bit.
Whoever made this planet played The Sims, I don't know. I think they're speaking Simlish.
Badar.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the with Italian kind of already being an offshoot of Latin, like it's clear that it's like it's more of a German Italian mix with it like the Italian aspects of it leaning a little more into the Latin.
Oh, what languages does Diego speak?
He speaks a few.
I know he's got Spanish.
Yeah, he will only speak in Spanish, but he knows a few. So I'll pull up I'll have to pull up his. Oh wait, I think I have that pulled up already. Other planets.
What's erstwhile look like again right now?
Just like
human,
a guy. So Diego speaks Mandate, Spanish, French, and English.
All right. Yeah. So, Teddy is keeping an ear out to try and pick up on the idiosyncrasies of the language so that he's, the least bumbling as possible, because obviously he doesn't know the exact mixture of what they'll speak here.
So that's with your telepathy. If you make telepathic contact with someone, you can just speak their language.
Right. Yep.
As well.
Yeah. So we'll probably be doing that for any of the more important people that we run across. But yeah.
I have a curious question when that comes up to that. Is Teddy able to make a telepathic link between us and people so we can also speak their language?
I don't know if it works that way, so let's see, because I've got so I've got the facile mind, which means I only need to commit effort for the scene. And for those of us who are practiced, it doesn't even require any effort. But I don't know if I can telepathic contact with someone else and then conference the rest of you into that. I can do transmit thought, which is thoughts and images over a telepathic contact. So maybe?
I would say what you could do is you could silently translate to everyone. So
Yeah.
he wouldn't give you the ability to speak the language, but he could like real time translate what they're saying.
Yeah, and then you all could telepathically communicate back to me, and then it only seems like Teddy is talking. Teddy and Cataract, probably. Um,
All
Seems
right.
like an interesting plan.
As you're kind
I'd
of
be able to speak, kind of.
get closer to kind of this small manor, Cataract will kind of. Cataract can go in and barter for the horses. Cataract imagines you do not have any items outside of technology these people would find helpful or valuable.
Have rations.
I don't know that we have much that would be appropriate to the technology here.
I don't suppose they want a climbing harness.
Cataract is sure they would love one, but
It's just a climbing harness. I don't think it has any tech to it.
still,
Oh.
Cataract is sure they would find it helpful. But Cataract has some local currency.
That might look better. I think I also, now that I'm actually reading the climbing harness, I think it does have technology to it.
Possibly, yeah. But yes, no. You are the expert with the locals, Cataract, so shall leave the bartering to you.
All right. Cataract will kind of like walk ahead of the group and kind of go knock on a door and this manner, and you see, someone kind of lead him in, and he kind of starts talking to him, and he's Catharact's led inside, and the door's shut. You guys are kind of left outside here, and time kind of goes on for a little bit. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and eventually some of they're not really guard because this place isn't big enough to have like a station of like military or anything like that, but kind of like militia, kind of some bigger dudes who check in on this kind of stuff for the town. They've found out about you all, and they begin to approach, and they're gonna beeline it to Mozart.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mozart will put Scarra down, but keep Neith in his arm, and just lean forward over them and growl.
They kind of go back. One of them has like a really well maintained club, and the other one has like an actual sword. And they kind of both go to their weapons, and they begin speaking in their language.
Yeah, so gonna open a telepathic contact with whichever one seems to be the leader among them.
That'll be the guy with the sword.
Yeah. And just, We are here in peace. We come simply to barter for some horses so that we may continue our travels. We have traveled by foot for a day and are weary.
They kind of, shake out of being growled at by Mozart and look to you, and the leader kind of, we just wanted to come and make sure that there's not anything we should be worried about with people like you traveling through. And I mean to kind of check on you as well, but you sound like you're from around here.
Well, not specifically here, but we are passing through. You won't need to worry about us or others like us.
I mean, as long as you're not Novan spies.
You have problems with Novan spies.
The other one kind of goes, I told you they weren't Novan spies. Why would they be out here? Never had Novan spies before.
Yep. I'm double checking if I can do a deeper dig without losing the contact. Okay, I can do up to the level 2 to get read their current thoughts. Can't pick up memories or non-obvious connections. They do get a mental saving throw for this, but the contact stays established whether or not they succeed.
Okay.
If I dug any deeper, then the contact would be over.
All right. So you want a save and throw from him?
Yes, please.
All right. I don't have a sheet for them, but they're going to have to roll higher than a 14.
Okay.
They fail.
No. So yeah, just trying to get a little bit more on this Novan spy business.
All right. So you kind of pick up on their thoughts that something about the front is so far away from here. They're not next to any like important sites. Like, what would a Novan spy be doing all the way out here?
Okay.
It's clear that they're at war.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind then. I was about to say, is Teddy translating all of this to us as well?
Yeah, it's it's all going at the speed of thought of just like, okay, clearly there's another faction, the Novans, who send spies that they are at war with, but that is so far away that it shouldn't really be a concern here, is at least how I have interpreted this information.
All right. So yeah, the one kind of the one with the club was kind of told you they weren't going to be Novan spies, like kind of thing. And he goes, "Oh, all right. But there's nothing we should be worried about. What happened to your horses?"
I think Mozart is he's not part of the telepathic thing, but he understands maybe little bits, right? So maybe he caught just a little bit of like what happened to horses.
Yeah, it's like
a lean
strong German word for horses, and you're like, I got that.
Yep. And he just leans back over and says in like a similarly probably very broken and not their language version, I ate them.
Neith smacks the head.
Tonk.
Yes, unfortunately, this one does require much sustenance. But we are close enough to our ultimate destination that any horses we get from your village should remain uneaten.
Good. Is one of them goes, "He's not a shade, is he?"
Yeah.
Pointing to Mozart.
No. He is not. He has just always eaten his vegetables.
The other one kind of saddles up like closer to you, Teddy. And in a voice that maybe a guy in a suit of armor wouldn't be able to hear because the armor would block it, but Mozart can hear it easily.
Mm-hmm.
Goes, "There's something wrong with him? Is he dumb? Why does he talk like that?"
He has taken an oath to cut himself off from much of the outside world. There are still extraneous factors that require and allow him to communicate, but it must be in a simplified manner.
I think I want a talk check for this.
Sure. I'm good at that. $13.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. And he's kind of like, all right. Well, he goes, are you all allowed to tell us anything about what you're doing here around these parts? Maybe we could help. We could send some men along with you if you need protecting.
That is mighty generous of you, but we have already contracted the services of another shade to guide us. And given the well, we have noticed that the villagers are shying away from him and us, and so we would not want to impose.
You guys are, I mean, clearly you're bankrolled. So I don't know what mandate you're from. I don't want to pry, but I mean, the other, he's clearly from the divine mandate. So
Would like to
I imagine that cost a lot.
would like to try and read the more surface thoughts about what the divine mandate is.
All right. Yeah, I guess it's still the same. You still have the connection, right? He doesn't have to make another save.
Yeah, I mean, I
or
guess
does he need
it's
to?
how we want to interpret this, because it's the psychic's awareness of the target's surface cognition is sophisticated enough to read their current thoughts, though it can't pick up memories or non-obvious connections.
Okay, so I mean, so from the surface thoughts, like, divine mandate, that's one of the more powerful groups of shades, and that yeah, that you that basically that some groups consider the shades from the divine mandates to be gods.
Okay, good to know. And relaying some of this information to, well, all of this information to the others.
Do we have a two-way
Uh,
connection?
Yeah, you all can communicate to me.
Okay. Neith says, do we want to continue to talk to these people?
It's more that I don't know that they will leave us alone until Ketheract returns, so I will, I'll keep talking and not tell them anything important and just see what we can learn about the planet.
Okay. Goes back to looking bored.
all right. Yeah, I mean, so they're pretty content to just kind of chat with you about, they're trying to get, like, you guys are on some important mission for, some important noble person in the Terran mandate, and they're trying to figure out what that is. This is like potentially the most exciting thing that has ever happened, and they're very pointedly at some point going to ask, like, does this have anything to do with the lights in the sky?
Let's see. Going to briefly confer with the others.
Scarra's
What do we want
advises
to
you
tell
stay.
them?
I advise you stay away from even bringing that kind of thing up. I don't even want them to assume they were from the sky, considering how the reactions may be.
Do we think it might be okay to say that we are also on a journey to learn about them, and that's why we're here, or just not at all related?
Just leave it alone, I think. Perhaps just say the lights in the sky making us concerned, so we're trying to move away from their landing locations. Like, we don't want to get hit by asteroids or anything. But
You're not gonna know
maybe
what
they don't.
asteroids are, you dooger.
God, sorry, I have to dumb myself down.
Just tell them we saw them and it has nothing to do with that.
We have a bad omen, premonitions, shit like that.
Yes. We think they are a portent, good or bad, we have not yet determined. But until that such a time, we have our business to attend to.
I think that's kind of like a like, hey, we're not going to talk about this. They kind of like, all right, well, if you need any, hired hands, more than a few men around here would love to work, but we'll let you get back to it then. And they kind of walk off. And maybe about like 5 minutes after they leave, Kethrak comes out and like kind of approaches you, and you see like a few servants kind of like leaving from the manor as well. And he approaches and says, Kethrak was able to procure 6 horses. He wanted 5, or he wanted 10, but they were not able to spare more than the 6.
Well, 6 is better than the 0 we had, and most of us will be able to buddy up on the horses.
Well, it's enough for no, Mozart can't ride one at all, and so
it's like he needs to, he doesn't get tired.
Yeah, so
Yep.
It should be good.
But thinking about trying to return with 2 diplomats at least.
Mm.
So yeah, for continuing, we're fine. But on the journey back, we'll need to. Some of us will need to group up.
One of them could ride on top of Mozart's back, the safest place in the world.
The servants come back with the horses, and you all kind of like saddle up and get your belongings put on them, and can take off towards the Tower of Heaven. And I think we can call a break there.
Yeah. So we will take a break. Refresh ourselves, grab more water, grab a snack, etc., etc. We will be back very soon, so don't go anywhere.
All right. Yeah. You're not in the Oz mandate. So, yeah, you guys have your horses, and you take out of this village relatively quickly. Yeah, I don't know what the word for whatever this lordling would be. Like, it's probably just a knight, right? That's like the lowest. Yeah, like it's basically just like, yeah, you're part of the landed gentry, but you're not important in any way because we shoved you over here in this shit village. But yeah, now that you have horses and you get a little distance, you're going pretty quick. Mozart, your speed on Biggin, is it any faster than a person?
I didn't see any info on that, so I can only assume no.
Oh, Okay. Well, I've been fine without it. I don't need it now. I meant to grab my physical copy of my book while we were doing things, but yeah.
Like, I'm looking at the Omen right now, and it talks a lot about, good at killing, cutting torches, ripper bars, microjets, integral sensors, but nothing at all about its speed.
Okay. You guys have a speed of 10 meters.
Okay. Also, I've just realized I may have been muted for some part of us coming back from break, but I didn't say all that much.
Okay.
It has been fixed.
Yeah, so you guys have a 10-meter speed.
I mean, I'm immune to things like fatigue and shit, so theoretically I could just full tilt run the whole time.
That's true.
Reminds me of Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, where people did the math and it's like, he has no sprinting stamina, can just sprint forever and like runs faster than Usain Bolt does when you do. Can just keep that up indefinitely.
Okay, there you go. Had to go into a Google Doc or go into my Google Drive, but I have a Stars Without Numbers rule book now.
Nice.
All right.
Because, yeah, I mean, I don't really see where it tells us what our speed is by default.
I don't remember, but yeah, it's 10 because it's 2-meter squares, and you guys still can only move 5 squares a turn if we do combat stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's 30 feet still because it's 10 meters, roughly 30 feet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but yeah. So, well, you guys won't be sprinting on the horses anyways. This will just be so you guys don't have to like fatigue yourselves and go at a slightly faster pace. I think I'm pretty comfortable ruling that since you don't fatigue, you can maybe, even if your base speed is like the same as a human, like you're just doing like a light jog to keep up with everybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, Kethrak would be, there's a horse for him right now, so he'd be riding a horse.
Yeah. You think Teddy stays near to Neith's horse in case she needs help?
I was gonna say, Neith has no fucking idea how to ride a horse at all. So I think she'd probably it's probably one of those situations where she tries for a little bit and cannot get the hang of it and just ends up on the back of Teddy's horse.
Mm-hmm.
Holding
that's
on.
a good point. Probably most of you don't know how to ride a horse. So
Teddy's pretty good at riding, so I'm sure
Kethrak can ride a horse.
Yeah.
I think Teddy, so just Teddy being from Zebuth, they do a lot of like mounted like riding of various animals and stuff like that. As it's one of those like Star Wars planets where like instead of speeders, they like run around on weird alien animals and stuff like that. So he's probably the most experienced rider, because Kethrak would know, but probably wouldn't do it all that often.
Yeah.
And Diego kind of knows how to ride a horse. Like he's keeping up.
Yep.
If you guys had to do anything crazy, he wouldn't be able to do it, but he's fine. Yeah, so probably people doubling up. And actually, just by sheer how skills work,
I think Scarra is good at it.
Scarra
with
is
piloting.
the best out of everybody because it's a pilot check. But yeah, so some people maybe double up, and with that, maybe you like occasionally will switch horses to
give them a rest.
Give them a rest, but yeah. Yeah, there's not going to be anything too crazy. You guys are gonna camp one more night, and then the next day, as long as everything goes according to plan, you're informed by Kethrak that you will make it to the tower, which you will see before you even camp the next night. Before you even camp, so at some point, like kind of maybe late this afternoon, you start seeing like an enormous skyscraper,
Mm-hmm.
just like a lone skyscraper that's it's probably more like a space bridge or something like that. Like it's way too tall. Like
Mm-hmm.
like a 1,000 stories or some ridiculous
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Right. Well, that ain't the Tower of Saruman.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
would be able to see the top of that. Though I guess if we're depending, I guess the question is, have we always been able to see this thing over the horizon, or
Um, you feel like if the weather had been clear enough, you probably would have been able to.
okay?
It's relative. It's not like very like wide.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you're getting, it's more like as you get closer, like this line in the sky like starts becoming
Okay.
clear that it's like you notice it, and then it's like, oh, that's a building.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Captain Fufu, what you think? Should I send Bach up there? Take a good look around. Keep a max distance.
Yeah, I mean, anything we can get eyes on ahead of time can only help us. Unless
Cool.
there's uh, pitching this so that Ketharak might be able to hear and chime in. Unless there's defenses around the tower that might attack.
The Tower of Heaven is quite heavily guarded. The Knights of Vigilance are probably the most technologically sophisticated group on the planet, but they largely keep to defending the tower itself. The squires that defend the surrounding areas are locals that wouldn't be using much more than is available to them. Kethrak believes the drone would go undetected.
All right. Well, thank you for your insight. And yes, let's send Bach out.
Okay, so the observation suite can focus on conversations or facial expressions from up to 2 kilometers away, and can even operate in the complete absence of visible light. So
Okay.
I'm just going to keep it at max distance and just kind of do a big old fucking loop around the tower, kind of maybe spiral upwards. So as I'm going around, I'm seeing more
That'll
floors.
probably be the next day because 2 kilometers isn't that crazy of a distance. Because what, a 5 kilometers is 3.2 miles. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Be the next day. Well, that's not how far away from me it can be. That's how far away it can see in detail.
Oh, okay. So yeah, how far away? What's its range from you?
I think I got the space one, Void Hawk. Yeah.
Feel like it's got
It
a
doesn't
ridiculous.
say. Yes, it does. Void Hawk, 100 kilometers.
Okay. Yeah, I think you can get there. Yeah, so it'll be a while, like, because you'll have to. It'll start flying ahead of you. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was about to say I don't know. Okay, so out of combat they can manage up to 100 kilometers an hour, but in combat
Oh,
they're 30 meters per round.
well, then it'll be there in an hour, maybe less. Yeah, so it gets there pretty quick then, and yeah, you can start getting some daytime images of it being back to you. And yeah, so basically you're going to see three, kind of circular walls around this tower. You see that it's kind of like standing amongst some rubble of kind of like an older city of some kind, some pre-scream city that didn't survive, but this building has, and the building's in great condition. It isn't finished, so it looks like it was going to be a sky bridge, and it just wasn't completed. So at some point at the top, you start seeing like bars and beams sticking out. But yeah, around it, there's three walls, and these are not to pre-tech standards. They're just the innermost wall is stone, and then the outer two are wood. And yeah, it's a kind of a small. It's a fort, so it's a small city around it. There's houses and stuff on the interior of these walls, and there's villagers and stuff like that. But they're largely bows and arrows, spears, swords. But on the inner wall, you do see some folks with what look to be some functioning pre-tech weaponry.
Well, I would just be projecting that in like image form for everybody as the stuff is coming up. So you guys see what he sees.
That's old, but not that old, right? So, I mean, I don't see anybody working on it. So, what's the deal? Is it abandoned? Like, what? Why did you send them here?
Kethrak will kind of tell Mozart to kind of focus towards the top of the tower and run those energy scans that you had earlier.
Probably need to be having a trade for that, and he just focuses in.
And when you kind of switch over to the energy stuff, you'll notice that, like, without notice rolls, you didn't see it before, but one of the clouds that's kind of like next to this tower as it pierces the clouds is just stationary. It's not moving at all, and it is just like lighting up with metadimensional energy. And Kethrak says, "There's a portal to the realm of heaven in the tower."
A realm of heaven, you say?
Kethrak must, feels obligated to mention that this is not the actual afterlife.
But
this is a metadimensional construct and the capital of the angelic mandate.
is that the same as the divine mandate, just different words, or is there a distinction between those?
There is a distinction.
And that would be
Kethrak's given you. He didn't mention the divine mandate, so he's like,
I think Teddy will just, casually mention, like, while you were inside bartering, some of the locals came and approached, and they assumed that you were part of the divine mandate.
The difference between the angelic mandate and the divine mandate is that the angelic mandate is essentially angels, and their contracts are contracts of doing good things and protecting things and punishing the wicked. The divine mandate are a collection of beings, shades that are powerful and represent specific ideologies. Some of them even patterned directly after old human gods.
So yours is commerce, trade, something along those lines.
That would be Ketharak's domain, yes.
Cool. So this portal tech is pre-scream, or you made it, someone made it?
The portal is a break in normal space that has been configured based off of pre-tech technology that was never meant to function as it does as a result of the screen.
Oh, cool. So I've kind of lost focus on what our actual mission is here. We're going to get the people from the pods who crashed here, right? They're on this plane. Are we expected to go through this death portal?
Ketharak, Ketharak never mentioned that you would die. You wouldn't die going through the portal. They didn't die when they went through the portal.
Right. What I'm saying is I'd rather not. So is that something we have to do?
Ketharak doesn't know if you will be required specifically to go in, but they are inside.
Right. Will it be easy to get them out?
Ketharak is not in charge of their protection any longer.
Right. Cool.
Ketharak only knows they are safe. This was the contract that was made.
Right. Okay. Sounds super good to me. Approaching this tower, are there going to be any defenses? Anything we have to like look out for? People guarding the tower?
Ketharak is in good standing with the angelic mandate. He believes that Michael will allow you entrance.
Cool. Then let's get a mosey. I'm super having a lot of fun being on this horse right now. It's very comfortable having just learned what a butt is.
Well, if you need it, I'll give your butt a massage when we're resting.
Okay.
And I mean, there's not anything like more to that statement. It's just, yeah, your butt's gonna be sore. I'll give it a massage.
Hell yeah. I hold a lot of tension in my glutes. What, guys?
Yeah. I mean, you're just learning how to use it. You're probably using it wrong.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was so integral as part of the human body.
All right. Yeah. So, any scenes anyone wants to do between here and the tower? Now that you've kind of scoped it out, you're gonna camp one night, and you'll get there probably late afternoon the next day.
I think maybe have a discussion about hey Captain,
Yes.
what's our brilliant plan to bring everyone back to the ship?
Well, I think that's why we have the forces. We can at least bring the diplomats with us, and we'll tell all the people there of, hey, this whole coalition fleet is coming, and we'll be preparing to rescue you all. And so, perhaps, speak with the Angelic Mandate and see if they can provide protection until they can be returned to their people. Whereas, we can escort the VIPs ourselves.
Okay. And any word on how quickly we're gonna get the other ships here?
I'm trying to remember what our timeline is at this point, like how many more days we think until the fleet arrives.
So you guys are 2 days. Now it's been 2 days again. They'll probably arrive by the time you guys get back to the glider.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, it seems to me like, this mission is coming to an end fairly quickly. I mean, Pleasant already knows to convey a message to the rest of the fleet about what is happening here and that we'll need the power cells to finish our bargain. And then, we can work on bringing all the people back.
Oh, real quick,
Mhm.
it would have definitely occurred to you that you don't need to get back to the glider by horse. You could easily, once the deal is complete, Pleasant could pick you guys up in the ship.
Yeah, I think the concern there is what worries do we have about suddenly bringing a ship into this society that is like, oh God, what the hell is that?
Hmm.
Or if that's even going to be a concern for us. I guess something would be like, telling Pleasant to convey to the fleet of like, hey, this civilization does not like space stuff. How do they want to proceed with it? And if they're just like, we're bringing in all the ships, and it's just like, well, okay, our ship is not going to make it or break it at that point. And in that case,
Hmm.
bring it on in. Otherwise, we'll need to try and play it a little cool and escort the people to an uninhabited part to get picked up.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Was there anything else that we were doing with this? You were
Yeah, I
talking
think
about. Go ahead.
after everybody goes to sleep, I think Mozart wants to talk to Cataract.
All right. He's again just like standing next to you on watch.
Right then, Tinky Winky, the purple god of commerce. I got a trade for you.
Interesting.
Right. One immortal to another.
Kithrax would like to point out that neither of us is immortal.
Right. Well, you might not be. What's your plans? The real ones. You're getting out there. What are you going to do? You have a plan, I can tell.
Kithract is not currently capable of leaving this planet. Not
Why do
for
you
more than a month, Kithract would expect.
why do you want to? It's all the same in the rest of the verse. Just squishy things, fucking and killing. You thrive off a trade, right? Ain't there enough here?
No.
Right then. So, my question has value. You get one out of me. I'll give you a hint. I come from before the scream too.
Interesting. Kithract would like to know what your experience of the scream was.
All right. Deal's a deal then. You first.
Kithract was summoned by a psychic in a laboratory and was helping to devise strategies to disrupt the sector's trade as a part of an ongoing military campaign by the Terran Mandate to retake the sector. When everything changed, the technology used to summon Ketheract became charged with metadimensional energy. The psychic died screaming in pain. And a portal opened to Ketheract's home. Or what Ketheract believed to be his home. Because as was said, Ketheract has no proof he exists outside of when he is summoned.
But what? It's all to prove your own existence to yourself. Get out there beyond your normal functioning range.
Ketheract remembers existing in other parts of the universe than this planet. These were not the first to summon Ketheract. The technology has been independently invented on multiple occasions. Ketheract has been trapped here for more than 600 years. And Ketheract has always experienced an extremely limited existence. He would like to experience a more open form of existence.
All right. I can't commiserate. Doesn't mean I like you anymore. But I was built 800 years ago to replace a couple scientists' child lost, uploading an human consciousness into a mechanical frame. This, not the first corpus.
Interesting.
Scream happened right as I came online. That planet, lots of psychic talents there. Those that survived got ripped apart by the mad ones. It's been a few hundred years trapped there myself. Destruction to technology, no ships to get off. Just cleaning up a big rock. 500 years before I even had an identity outside of that clutch of memories.
Ketheract wonders, do you have memories of the lost child?
All of them, perfect detail. He was just
Do
a boy.
they feel like your memories?
They did. First few hundred years. Then I got mad, real mad. Knew what I was. Decided then I was going to kill everything, kill everyone. Spread myself out across the galaxy like a mechanical plague. Then,
Interesting.
a couple hundred years after that, killing monsters. Not tired of the idea. Not tired. Right. Got all the time in the universe. I start to fall apart, I'll replace myself. I'll be here when the end comes. Why rush it? So I got out to experience the rest of the universe. Sound familiar, eh?
Ketheract would wish you luck.
Mm.
And if, as you suggest, Ketheract and yourself are in fact immortal, then this will by no means be the last time we deal with each other.
Right. I suppose I could stand to be a bit more hospitable to you. That said, don't ever forget, I don't like your Dritsto and Kmart brand looking ass.
Kethrak will endeavor to remember this.
Right then, good trade.
Kethrak does wonder the extinction of all other life. A back burner goal, or one that has been left behind entirely?
No, still gonna do it. Like I said, I got all the time in the world. I want to keep a few. Keep them binds. Maybe upload them like the little boy was me. There's some value to these squishy things. They're just mostly so fucking gross.
Kethrak imagines that there must be humans attempting this on their own.
Right. Yeah. Kids playing with their father's playthings. The mandates fell a long time ago, Kethrak. You know that. All the pre-tech, them scientists. The ones we have now could all account up to them. That's how you get rogue AIs. Marching around with short-term plans, blowing up this planet or the next, getting all lots of attention drawn to them and taken out.
That is interesting. Kethrak hadn't considered that you all would be less advanced than the Scream. He knew this planet had become horribly backwards, but had assumed your levels of technology had recovered sufficiently.
Well, they ain't bad. Better than this lot, but yeah, I don't know. There might be a corner of the universe where the mandate still stands. Not one I've found yet.
Well then.
One stipulation I'm adding on there. Yeah. You don't whisper word one of this to them lot. Robot's got to have his secrets.
Kethrak can keep the secret relatively easily. It is one of value.
How about this for a trade? You keep your mouth shut on that matter, and I let you keep your head attached to your shoulders.
The
Good
prevention
deal.
of violence does seem to be a good deal. Kethrak would suggest not as a binding deal by any means, but there is someone Kethrak would like to introduce you to at some point. Another shade, not a violent one.
I kind of prefer the violent one. I'll keep it in mind.
That is good. Well then, if secrets are being kept, secret for secret?
Make your offer first.
Meet the individual I would like you to meet.
Fine, I'll meet him. As long as that meeting doesn't interfere with our mission here.
It can be done afterwards.
Fair enough.
Really, at any time. Kethrak is perfectly happy having the meeting in 100 years. Although he thinks you would like to have it sooner rather than later. it would likely be more beneficial to you than him. The secret is more a warning. As you are wise to surmise, Cataract has further intentions. Your friends will need your help with what is to come.
Right. I'd say thanks for the warning, but fuck you. And
Cataract
I'll keep that
understands.
in mind as well.
All in the nature of friendly relations between two potential immortals.
Ugh, don't use that fucking word. I like their squishy asses more than your purple rain looking ass motherfucker. Is there anything
Understandable.
else you got?
How so?
I'm getting tired of hearing your lips flapping.
Oh, no, Cataract is done. We can resume our silence. Or the silence could be resumed between Cataract and yourself.
Music to my ears.
And yeah, he just goes back to standing there. There's no sense of awkwardness from Cataract. She doesn't care.
I actually love that. It's somebody that I can just verbally abuse constantly. And they're just like, you didn't hurt my feelings. This is fine.
Mm. All right.
Just a minor detail question. Is Cataract the kind that's just like, if he's not doing anything, is just like perfectly unnaturally still, or is there still like breathing and like little adjustments and stuff?
He's probably unnaturally still. Like he'd be looking around because he is keeping watch,
Mm-hmm.
but it's probably more just like him just like occasionally turning, like with his feet, just like changing how he's positioned and looking around.
Yeah. Okay.
While Mozart is playing like Angry Birds or something while the Void Hawk is circling around.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Does Mozart have the only remaining copy of Flappy Bird?
It's an emulator. Yeah. It's not the original, but he's got a file downloaded.
Yeah.
Okay. The next day, you make it to the tower. You make it to the outer gates, and yeah, there's guards and stuff. Kind of, they recognize Cataract, and he goes up to kind of talk to them. You'll all notice that these groups, and you probably would have noticed from the Void Hawk as well, that especially if you're getting any audio, um, they're all primarily speaking Mandate. And there seems to be like different cultural groups here. There's different, kind of clothing styles and like ornamental jewelry and stuff like that. And they'll kind of break off into groups and they'll be speaking different languages than they're not all just speaking the German, Italian, Latin. There's also a heavy French influence. But they all do seem to be European languages.
Sure, it was unrelated, but LB just looked so disgusted when you said, and there's a heavy French influence.
I'm sorry. It's a video that auto played on my thing.
Ah.
But yeah, they seem to be speaking to each other in Mandate. There seems to be seems to be like a trade language. And yeah, as Cataract approaches, and you kind of easily can hear him, just kind of he's bought people to visit the others. Can this new group be let into the tower? Let's see.
Yeah, I guess one question that we probably would have asked Cataract on our approach is like, how familiar or like aware and comfortable are these people with the idea of, oh yeah, we're from space, or should we still be trying to keep up the ruse with them?
Oh yeah, he would he'd let you know that they're okay with it.
Okay.
They're more advanced. They're more learned. He would probably, as you get close, he kind of give you a bit of a breakdown that the village and the people that live in it are, they're recruited from all the various mandates who basically they want to join the Knights of Vigilance, who exclusively work in the tower.
Okay.
Like anyone outside of the tower is a squire of the Knights of Vigilance. If you're inside, you're a Knight of Vigilance. And they all, you know, they're pretty educated. That's where they're most heavily armed with pretext stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been keeping the tower functioning for, over 600 years. They haven't completed the constructions, but they've been keeping the upkeep,
Yeah.
to a point.
Okay.
And yeah, you make your way through the 3 gates, and you get into the tower itself. Do I have a name for these people? I don't know. Okay, so yeah, you kind of are bought in to the tower, and here's where it's like, yeah, okay, this is, you see some people in like functioning pre-tech, like power armor and stuff like that with pre-tech weapons. These guys, like, they're a small army, and yeah, if they left the tower, there's like a decent chance that they could probably like they could with the group here they could probably conquer like a nation or something like that. But instead, they're, especially at this level, like now in space, no, like these guys could maybe take like a city or something like that with their pretext stuff, but probably even not that because they just have power armor. There's no like ships or anything like that.
Oh, Kethrak?
Mhm.
Do these people know how to fix those suits? Like, did they understand how they function?
Yes, they maintain the technology themselves.
Could I talk to somebody about that?
They're quite secretive of it, but it could potentially be arranged.
Cool. I'd want to do that. That
Kithrak will
wasn't
see if he can
sarcasm.
arrange something.
Thanks. I have things to trade. Wait, do they work in trades too?
They don't, but all groups need trade, and their technology is finite. They can maintain it, but if something breaks beyond repair, they have no ability to fabricate new things. I'm sure that you would be able to provide very useful things to the Knights of Vigilance.
My
Okay.
share. You want me around for that too?
Well, I mean, yeah, if you want to learn more.
Mm.
I just want to know how it works. Get my fingers up in there. My normal fingers. My webbed fingers that catch things when they fall.
I mean, I was about to say, like, wouldn't these fingers be more nimble without the webbing? But I guess if you're used to the webbing being there for other needs.
Yeah. Plus, I have the nails, and those really help get in those small areas. These are just flabby little things that break every 5 minutes. You can see they're all like chipped.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna have a nail day when we get back.
Yeah, that butt rub was fantastic, by the way.
You're welcome. I know what I'm doing.
Well done. Maybe you could rub my tail down sometime. I get a little tense on the sides from the sitting.
Yeah, anything you need.
Perfect.
Okay. Okay. So eventually, you're kind of let in, and Mozart, give me a notice. Okay, 8. I think you'd pick up on this. So you would all pick up on this, that basically the vast majority of the knights look to be about 50. Like that kind of like age range. Like they're not elderly, but they're on the other side of middle aged. And yeah, they're all speaking Mandate. Many of them with some of the accents you've heard outside. Some of the accents are kind of off, and you're having, you know, to Teddy, you're picking up on this a little bit with your ear for languages, um, and but Mozart, you begin to catch some accents that are pre-screen.
All right, now, how the hell does somebody keep a New York accent this fucking long?
What are you talking about?
I don't want. He talk like he's from the Bronx.
What's the Bronx?
Old place.
Okay. What does that mean? They're not from here?
These blotters that look like they're riding up on their 60s. I'm talking like they're 600.
Well,
Right.
maybe if they're allowed, if they have families, maybe they're very contained. We don't know how much these knights tend to leave the tower. Maybe they're not exposed to the other languages, and so it just stays and continues to incubate.
Maybe. Right, you probably know more about languages than I do, but I know they tend to mutate regardless.
And that
Hmm.
certainly is odd.
Mm.
As you kind of make your way through the tower, one of the things, so you'll be able to take like a lift most of the way there, like an elevator, but at some point it stops, and you're gonna have to like take some stairs, and you get to kind of this checkpoint, and Ketharak kind of makes some introductions, and he asks if Commander Bernardi could be allowed, if you could all meet with Commander Bernardi, that this group would like to access the domain of heaven and the angelic city and visit the others that Ketharak bought through not too long ago. And yeah, and one of them kind of goes off to do that, and we're kind of running late, so I think we'll end it there. I don't want to do any other.
Yeah.
NPC interactions or anything like that, but you guys are about to meet with someone who can give you access to the people you're looking for.
All right.
So yeah, we'll do another 4 experience for everybody.
Woo. Which puts us at 62. You're welcome, Mecha, watching on the VOD. 62 XP.
All right. Do we want to do stars and wishes real quick?
Yeah. Um,
My star is Mozart backstory. Even though we didn't get to hear it, hearing it is very cool. Also, that relationship you have, where it's like you're shit talking to someone who really does not care at all and is not picking up on it. They're like, okay, whatever. And my wish is for Neith to get her hands on some pre-tech like stuff and really start to figure it out so she can help with not promise.
Pleasant.
Pleasant. Help do repairs and stuff like that and learn more about it, so because she, gearhead, wants to know it all.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, my star is also going to Mozart, and just the insistence on trying to deal with Cataract and like being very cautious about it, but eventually figuring out like, okay, this is what I'm willing to give up to learn more. And so seeing the development from I don't trust you at all to okay, I know how you work. I still don't like you, but we can we can function. Has been a good development. And then a wish. I know, I've kind of got two. One is to find a place where we can just let Mozart go on a rampage because he's been he's been holding it in for a while, and we need to let him cut loose. Then I think the other wish is getting to see more of. I think maybe more of Neith's backstory because it's like okay, how much of the like oh I'm a princess from another planet actually was in character, even if it was said as a throwaway, and how much of that was just LB teasing us with the backstory that shall not be revealed.
Cool. So my star has definitely got to go to sarcastic Neith. Man, it's a lot of fun. And then like just given that character a ladyship, like, oh yeah, the hand waves, loved it. Sarcastic Neith is great. Especially like, I haven't been with you guys for that long, but I was just starting to like really get a grasp on how like kind Neith is, and then getting to see this side of her is fucking gold. And I guess actually I have 2 stars too, because I'm gonna have to pass Alex the star you gave to me kind of on to David, because what like I just picked up on a couple of things that Ketharak was saying in interactions with other people, and I'm like, fuck, I'm not that different from him. And then having that full-on conversation with them. And to wit, my wish is I would like to see more things like that. I totally want to meet with this other shade. I want the whole group to start experiencing some like really big cosmic things that maybe kind of shake our worldviews a little. I think that would be cool. Let's meet some gods.
Ooh.
If they even exist in this universe.
Lowercase g then.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that there are some psychic beings that are, godlike. And who knows? I mean, maybe even Strand qualifies if they are indeed this massive hive mind entity.
All right. So I think my star is, I think, just the group's caution on sort of what they're doing here. I really just like not just Cataract and dealing with Cataract, but also like, do we like do we bring a spaceship in? Like there's just this like, what do we do in this situation? And that things are getting thought out pretty well. There's not a lot of just like, oh, let's just do this. Like you guys are making some really good choices, I feel like. And it's fun to watch. And wish, yeah. Yeah, I kind of wish for things to move forward a little bit more next session. I'm gonna have to, I think, keep myself on track, but that's kind of my wish, is to kind of get into the meat of what's going on, because it's kind of been a couple of like exposition traveling sessions, and yeah, let's get to the good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Because of course it's not going to be as simple as, oh yeah, we just go in and we tell the people like, hey, the ships are coming, come with us, we'll get you to the ships, and then we get paid, then we go retire and happily ever after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't be much of an adventure. But yeah, I think that's me.
All right. Well, I'm checking the audio levels because the fireworks are popping off like nobody's business that I can hear, but I don't think they're coming through the microphone. But that means it's probably, well, we're at time anyway. So yeah, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you everyone for joining us. We'll be back in 2 weeks, hopefully, barring life getting in the way, which is always a possibility. But yeah, that's just another reason you should come join our Discord so that you know when we are doing streams and stuff. Yeah, again, nothing this Thursday for our normal scheduled time. Yeah, we'll be live sometime this weekend, most likely. And if not, again, you'll see us in 2 weeks' time. Again, this is a bi-weekly show. Even though Masks is gone. R.I.P. It. Yeah. I don't know. I'm rambling. I am distracted by the big booms outside. So yeah, that's gonna do it for us. And so until next time. Well, does anyone have things to plug or promote? No. All right. Until next time. Good games and good night, Internet.